such thing as a small disaster. So when you call 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota, we come prepared to restore your life back to normal. From burst pipes to unexpected mold discoveries or fire damage, when things couldn't be worse, we come to you with our best. With empathy, local expertise, and a truck full of seriously powerful equipment. 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota. Restoring what matters most. 701-670-2022.
Hello everyone, good frigid first alert Friday morning, and welcome to this Valley News Now weather update brought to you by 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota. It has been a cold start to the last day of our work week, and I want to jump right into the forecast because we have more cold on the way. Now, some of the more frigid wind chills of the extended forecast are today, this morning, for most of the region, especially here in the Southern Valley. This is likely to be some of our coldest wind chills that we'll see over the next couple of days. But Northern Valley, northwestern Minnesota, there's more dangerous wind chill in the forecast. So our first alert weather days continue. You may not be surprised today, tomorrow, Sunday, through Monday morning. So jumping right into the forecast here, we are going to see, or we have seen, I just got to reboot this real quick, I lost connection. We have seen temperatures this morning that dropped down into the 20s and even some 30s below zero. And it looks like I need to run back to the studio for 1 second to get my graphics to work. So let me just put you on the sky cam for just 1 moment and I will be right back. I apologize. All right, here we go. I am sorry about that. It was clear across the building and I have short legs. But let's get right to the forecast now and what we were seeing in parts of the region this morning with our low temperatures. 31 below zero, the actual air temperature this morning in Park Rapids, Minnesota. We were down to 30 below zero in Bemidji, 30 below zero in Baudette as well, 29 below in Fosston, even in northern North Dakota, 27 below in Langdon and in Candu. Now, that doesn't list, of course, all of the cities in the valley. Here are a few other of the low temperatures. Hubbard, Minnesota, the lowest one I saw in regards to the actual air temperature, 32 below zero. Pine Point, Mavie, also reporting 30 below this morning. Fox, Minnesota, as well as Fosston, Fertile, Wales, and Greenbush. Greenbush was at 28 below. The others prior were 29 below zero. when it comes to the wind chills. This is lowest wind chills from yesterday through today so far. I don't expect wind chills to get colder this morning. We'll see some improvement this afternoon. But wind chills 58 below zero in Brooks, Minnesota, in Langdon, North Dakota. That's cold. 57 below in Osage, Minnesota, 56 below in Adams, North Dakota. I also included Grand Forks and Fargo on this list, even though they weren't the coldest. Grand Forks Airport, 46 degrees below zero. And you can see there in the corner at the Fargo Airport, the coldest wind chill over the last 24 hours or so was 45 degrees below zero. Moving on ahead here, we still have an extreme cold warning in effect. Now, this is broken down into two separate time frames. So this red outline here, the northern 2/3 or so of the region, this is where the extreme cold warning remains in effect until noon on Sunday for wind chills 40 to 55 below zero. Until 3 o'clock this afternoon for parts of the Southern Valley. But then at 3 o'clock, that is going to be replaced by a cold weather advisory from 3 o'clock today until noon on Sunday. This is where we could still see wind chills as low as about 40 degrees below zero. Right now, we've seen some improvement. Temperatures no longer widespread in the 20s to 30s below zero, but we are still in the teens and 20s below. So bundle up if you are taking a step outside this morning or into the afternoon hours. Looking at the wind chill right now, it still feels like 41 below zero in Fargo. We've had a pretty consistent wind chill over the last couple of hours, and it's been a little breezy in spots too, so that's really influencing our wind chill. Langdon feels like 49 below zero, but I gotta say, at least on this map, we're not seeing any 50 below zero wind chills, and this has been an error to one of those sensors there for now a couple of days. Can't seem to get rid of that. Let's look ahead to the rest of the weekend. Tomorrow morning, we're still forecasting morning lows in the teens and 20s below zero, and morning wind chills in the 30s and 40s below zero north, 30s below zero, specifically here in Fargo, and a forecast high in Fargo, a 4 below zero. Now, we're not going to have a lot of wind tomorrow, and with slightly warmer temperatures, we'll see those wind chills in the teens below zero. Still in the teens below zero for morning temperatures on Sunday morning, and wind chills will once again plummet into the 40s and 50s below, depending on where you live. And I want to take a look at that wind chill forecast. This is a look at noon today. Wind chills in the 30s and 40s below zero. What about when you get off of work? A little better, still coldest wind chill wise across the Northern Valley and northwestern Minnesota, even down into Lakes Country, still seeing the wind chills in the mid 30s below. Then tonight into Saturday morning, the coldest wind chills expected in the same areas across the Northern Valley and northwestern Minnesota. Not as bitter, but still quite cold in the Southern Valley and southeastern North Dakota. Look at tomorrow afternoon. This is 3 o'clock when we typically see our high temperature for the day. And with temperatures expected to be in the single digits to low teens below zero, wind chills are not going to be as brutal, 20s and teens below zero. However, I just mentioned that Sunday morning looks to be quite cold again. This is 7:30 in the morning on Sunday. Maybe you're headed out and about, getting groceries, going to church, whatever you have planned. Wind chills in the Northern Valley and parts of northern Minnesota. Models are continuing to show that a few locations could feel like near 60 below zero. Not quite as bad south with those wind chills in the 20s and 30s. And when I say not quite as bad, it's still going to be very cold. Sunday afternoon, we see wind chills still in the 20s and 30s below zero. And into Monday morning, some areas east across northwestern Minnesota and Lakes Country, seeing those wind chills in the 30s and 40s below zero. So that's why we have that first alert weather day for Monday morning as well. We've been talking about this here for days, but ways to avoid frostbite, because with the wind chills that we are experiencing and are expected to continue to see the next couple of days, frostbite can set in between 5 and 10 minutes. So you want to dress in warm, loose layers, more than one layer ideally, to trap in your body heat. The heavy coat, the hats, the gloves, the boots, the long socks, the long johns, anything you have to keep you warm. Even one of those like ski masks can help keep your face warmer if you are spending more than several minutes outside, because exposed skin, as I mentioned, can freeze in less than 10 minutes. Some of the warning signs of frostbite. At first, your skin becomes red before starting to turn white or even a grayish color. If you touch it, it starts to feel firm or kind of waxy, and you might not feel that sensation as numbness starts to set in. And in order to remedy a frostbitten area, you want to warm it up gradually, not by using direct heat. You don't want to use like a hair dryer to warm up your skin. You don't want to use hot water to try to warm it up quicker, but warm water is advised, and gradual warming, and making sure not to rub or massage frostbitten skin, because that can damage it even more. We're also watching for signs of hypothermia if you're spending time outdoors. These include confusion, shivering, difficulty speaking, sleepiness, and stiff muscles. And it's when you stop shivering that is an extreme danger sign, because your body is no longer in self-preservation mode, trying to keep yourself warm. Turning our attention away from our frigid conditions and taking a look south, because all eyes have been on this massive winter storm that's taking shape and will be spanning thousands of miles. There are alerts in effect from New Mexico to New England for this large storm system that's set to bring snow and ice. In the northern plains here, we're just dealing with the cold. This high pressure that's in place for us is keeping that storm system pushed further south. Some of these snowfall projections are impressive. Oop, wrong button there. We are looking at this swath of purple. That's where this particular model, and I'm looking at the European model for those who are curious, is projecting more than a foot of snow. That's a good deal of areas that are expecting more than a foot of snow. And in fact, Oklahoma is kind of looking more like a bullseye in this particular forecast model. And then a couple spots up into New England as well, seeing potential for a foot and a half or more of snow. But it's not just snow that is the big concern. It's ice. We're seeing the potential, the possibility of more than a half an inch, more than 3/4 of an inch of freezing rain and ice accumulation. This is looking to be devastating for this part of the country that doesn't typically see these kinds of conditions. So what I want to do, I'm going to pull up a few things on my computer here. Just give me a quick second to talk more about first this storm system, and then I want to talk quickly about some road conditions here in the region, and I'll look at closings and delays. So pulling up this site here, this is from the National Weather Service, and it's the key messages for this winter storm. Look at these chances for at least 6 inches of snow. This red, that indicates a greater than 90% chance of at least a half a foot of snow. And when it comes to the freezing rain, projection for at least 1/4 of an inch of freezing rain, greater than 90% in these red highlighted areas as well. So their wording here is catastrophic ice accumulation that can lead to long duration power outages, extensive tree damage, extremely dangerous or impassable travel. And although we're not expecting that here, it's a huge population area that will be impacted by this storm. And widespread heavy snow, as we talked about as well, could create or is likely to create widespread travel disruptions and closures. And that could impact some major airport hubs as well. Jumping back to this top point here, expected to threaten over 170 million Americans with widespread heavy snow, sleet, and freezing rain, stretching from the southern Rockies to New England through Monday. Extremely cold air will follow. Not as cold as what we're seeing here, but in the south, there's very different criteria for that very cold air, as it doesn't happen very much in this part of the country. Okay, so moving on, we haven't talked about road conditions yet. And today there's not as much to talk about. So pulling up our website, heading over to the weather tab, we will look first at road conditions and then some of the closings and delays. Starting in North Dakota, there's a lot of green. We love to see that. Now in Fargo, the metro area, zooming in just a little bit closer, there are some areas in yellow which indicate some scattered ice. So something to keep in mind. I know my drive this morning, even though it was the middle of the night, was a little bit slick as I was filling in for Lisa this morning. And northeastern North Dakota, there's no longer a travel alert in effect. That has been dropped, but there are still a few scattered snow drifts in the extreme northeastern part of the state due to the blowing and drifting snow that we had yesterday and the day prior. Go back a few frames here and check out Minnesota. We'll just type in their webpage as well instead. There we go. Lots of green. Like I mentioned, not too much to show today for road report, so just going through this fairly quickly. Travel is looking good, just very cold. A couple of areas seeing some scattered snow on the roadways, again, from the blowing snow that we saw a couple of days ago. So I'm going to head back to our website and see our list of closings and delays. So that is on the weather tab and right over here, closings and delays. And these are in alphabetical order. Close that video there. You can see some areas are closed, virtual learning days, 2-hour delays for some area schools, virtual learning days, no after-school activities, Fairmount Public Schools, no breakfast or buses running where possible. Of course, that was this morning as well. Some of these places were opening late, but gradually opening up some areas from what we were seeing earlier this morning. So as you can see, just scrolling through this list here, there are a lot of closings and delays, including the campus at the University of North Dakota. The campus is closed today for in-person classes, and the U of M Crookston is closed today as well. If you ever have a closing that you want to report, you can do that right from this same page up here. It goes to our newsroom email and you'll get a login request. So that is how you check out the closings and delays. But let's get back to the forecast here and move on from this winter storm. Talking about the extended forecast, now there's still a lot of red here. We have several more first alert weather days starting yesterday, today, tomorrow, Sunday, and then through Monday morning. Once we get to Monday afternoon, conditions really improve and we see those wind chills warming above zero. Temperatures warming above zero. Can you tell I'm sleep deprived today? Temperatures warming above zero, but it's not until Monday afternoon that we do so. I am watching kind of a secondary cold snap towards the middle and end of next week, but it's not going to be nearly as cold as what we're seeing now. 6 below zero by the time we get to Thursday morning at a high of just 4. But that's not going to feel nearly as brutal as the conditions we're seeing right now. And then we recover. By the end of the month, temperatures warming up into the teens with a mix of sun and clouds, and then into early February, even beyond this 11-day, we're trending a little bit above average, which by then is around 20 degrees. So there is good news in the extended forecast. And I don't know why it looks so yellow here, so I'm going to turn that back off. Nobody wants to see that. So there's good news once we get beyond this frigid cold spell. But one thing I want to point out that's missing in this 11-day forecast: snow. I know, it's been a while since we've had a full stretch with no snow in the forecast. We may have a few flakes here and there next week, but nothing of impact. So a little bit of good news if you're not a fan of the snow. Now, that is all I have for you this morning on this Valley News Now weather update. That is brought to you by 1-800-WATER DAMAGE of North Dakota. I hope you have a wonderful Friday, and please stay warm and bundle up this weekend.
There's no such thing as a small disaster. So when you call 1-800-WATER DAMAGE of North Dakota, we come prepared to restore your life back to normal. From burst pipes to unexpected mold discoveries or fire damage, when things couldn't be worse, we come to you with our best. With empathy, local expertise, and a truck full of seriously powerful equipment. 1-800-WATER DAMAGE of North Dakota. Restoring what matters most. 701-670-2022.